In the electrifying world of professional wrestling, there are matches that entertain, matches that surprise, and then there are matches that define eras. The showdown between Ethan Page and El Hijo de Drive, Wagner Jr. belongs firmly in that last category, a battle of pride, culture, and pure wrestling passion. This was more than just a contest between two men, it was a collision of worlds, where Canadian charisma met Mexican wrestling royalty. It all began with words, sharp, cutting, and unforgettable. Ethan Page, known for his confidence and his ability to play mind games, made his intentions clear. He wanted to prove that legacy means nothing without performance. Across the ocean, El Hijo de Drive, Wagner Jr. heard those words like a challenge echoing through generations. For him, wrestling wasn't just a profession, it was bloodline, heritage, and honor. The son of the legendary Drive, Wagner Jr., he carried a mask that symbolized decades of Mexican lucha libre glory. The stage was set, two men with something to prove, one, a self-made star who carved his own path, the other, the heir to a dynasty who wanted to prove he wasn't just his father's shadow. When the night finally arrived, the atmosphere was electric. The crowd was a living organism, chanting, roaring, and waiting for something unforgettable. Bright lights flooded the ring. The announcer's voice thundered, "Greater than, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening." First came Ethan Page, dressed in his signature ring gear, oozing confidence. He strutted down the ramp with a smirk. The fans were divided, half cheering, half booing, but Page loved every second of it. Then came El Hijo de Drive, Wagner Jr., the masked warrior, stepping out with honor and tradition in every movement. The chants of "Wagner, Wagner," echoed across the arena. His presence was regal, his eyes locked on his opponent, no fear, no doubt, just purpose. The bell rang. The first few minutes were a masterclass in wrestling psychology. Page used his size and strength, pushing Wagner into corners, showing off with every taunt. But Wagner Jr. was a technician. He countered with grace, quick arm drags, fast footwork, and aerial maneuvers that dazzled the crowd. Ethan tried to slow the pace, using headlocks and shoulder tackles, but Wagner turned defense into offense. A perfectly timed Hurricane Rana sent Page rolling out of the ring. The crowd went wild. Page smirked again, dusted himself off, and shouted, "You think you're the only one with talent? Watch this," and dove back into the ring with renewed aggression. By the middle of the match, Ethan Page began to show his cunning side. He targeted Wagner's left leg, grounding the high flyer and limiting his agility. Each kick, each twist of the knee lock, was a message, "This is my ring now." But Wagner Jr. wasn't done. He fought back with sheer willpower, using his upper body strength to turn a submission hold into a counter roll-up. The referee's hand hit the mat, 1, 2, but Page kicked out just in time. The match became a chess game of counters and reversals. Page's brute strength met Wagner's technical genius. Every slam, every move had the crowd gasping, chanting both names in a rhythmic battle cry. Greater than, "Let's go Page. Wagner Jr. Wagner Jr." Momentum shifted when Ethan Page executed a spinning power slam that nearly broke the ring. Wagner Jr. was down, clutching his ribs. Page climbed the ropes, signaling his finisher, the ego's edge. But as he leapt, Wagner moved at the very last second. The impact missed, sending shockwaves through the crowd. Wagner seized the moment, a springboard DDT. The crowd erupted. Both men were down. The referee began the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly, both warriors crawled to their feet. The audience was on fire. Sweat, pain, and respect filled the air. With the crowd chanting, "Fight forever," both men gave everything left in their tanks. Page hit a devastating knee strike. Wagner answered with a superkick. Page caught him with a powerbomb. 1, 2, Wagner kicked out. Wagner hit a piledriver. 1, 2, Page kicked out. It was no longer about victory. It was about legacy. In a final, breathtaking sequence, Wagner Jr. countered the ego's edge into a mask lock submission, a move passed down from his father. The crowd held its breath. Page struggled, reaching for the ropes, but he couldn't make it. The referee called it. The bell rang. The arena exploded in cheers. Greater than winner. El Hijo de Drive. Wagner Jr. Wagner Jr. stood tall, mask gleaming under the lights. But instead of celebrating alone, he walked toward Ethan Page, still on his knees, exhausted, beaten, but proud. He extended his hand. Page looked up, hesitated, and accepted. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Two warriors from different worlds had just created a moment that transcended rivalry. Ethan raised Wagner's hand high, then left the ring with a nod of respect. It was more than sportsmanship, it was acknowledgement of greatness. This match will be remembered not just for the moves or the winner, but for what it represented, the spirit of wrestling. Ethan Page proved that charisma and confidence can stand toe-to-toe with legacy and tradition. And El Hijo de Drive. Wagner Jr. reminded the world why the mask is more than a costume, it's a symbol of pride, identity, and family honor. Analysts later called it a perfect storm of storytelling and athleticism. Fans called it match of the year. And for both men, it was a reminder, wrestling is not about where you come from, it's about how much heart you bring to the ring. As the lights dimmed and the crowd's chants faded into echoes, both men walked backstage knowing they had just written history. This wasn't the end, it was a beginning. Rumors already swirl about a rematch. Ethan Page, with a gleam in his eye, reportedly told interviewers. Greater than, he got me tonight, but next time, the story ends differently. And somewhere in the locker room, Wagner Jr. smiled behind his mask. Because in wrestling, rivalries like these never truly end, they evolve.